here in the studio.
Hey, but you know what? I'm glad you're here because apparently, last night you came into San Diego and you turned into a wild man.
Yes, I did.
I just think it's crazy. I mean, it is the most San Diego story. You were telling me a little bit before I started recording that you came into San Diego from LA on the train.
Yep.
And then you decided to start with 2 martinis at the bar there.
I met some dude who takes the train all the time. He's like, dude, try the martini. I'm like, all right, cool. So I had one, and then he's like, just get another one really quick. And then we went to the train together. And it was gnarly. And then, you get there, and then they give you a bottle of wine, like a little tiny bottle of wine when you're sitting there. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I get to San Diego and go to a bar. And it was I can't even think of what dive bar, but this bartender was getting off, and he's like, "Yeah, come, I'm going to this place. Can't even tell you where it was. I know Star Bar was included."
I mean, in any San Diego dive bar crawl, if Star Bar is not included, somebody did you wrong.
Yeah, so we went to we walked by Star Bar. At this point, it's all hazy.
It's so fuzzy.
But we went to a bunch of different bars, and then more people kept coming, like friends, and like it was awesome. And it was a brown out evening.
Well, you had the true San Diego experience because
I went to every bar in San Diego.
That's how things happen around here. It's just you meet somebody, and that somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and all of a sudden you wind up in Mexico, and you didn't even intend to cross the border.
Dude, Tijuana was talked about yesterday.
Well, the good news is it's 3 beers, 3 questions. So I got a little hair of the dog for you in a couple of different forms.
I told myself I wasn't drinking today.
Well, you know what? They didn't tell you who you were coming to hang out with. So
I'm in. I'm game.
I'm gonna start this bad boy. It's a light beer.
That's a beautiful, beautiful beer.
I can pour you a lot of this. This is
it's like water.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
it's hydration.
This one you'll dig. It's Harlan Brewing. This is their Japanese lager. It's brewed like if you go to a really good sushi place.
Yeah.
This is the kind of beer you want to pair with sushi.
This is local?
Yeah, all 3 of these beers are local San Diego beers. Since you had the bar experience last night, I
probably had all 3 of these last night.
I didn't know it. I don't know. The cocktail scene down here is pretty good. We get some really good mixologists in town.
Yeah, I'm sure they're really great.
Well, you know what? Cheers to a little hair of the dog.
Oh my gosh.
Good hanging out with you.
Good night, everybody. Oh, I haven't done that in like 7 hours.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is good because you really get a lot of the floralness on the nose. It's the jasmine rice they use and the
really
toasted rice.
Oh, it's rice.
Yeah, it's a rice lager. So that's like if it's perfect for sushi or whatever you want to maybe start your afternoon with because you have a show tonight at the
morning
Voodoo
for me right now. Good morning, good night.
Thank you. Your morning start. That's true musician stuff right there. With our first beer, first question. Let me ask you this on a personal level. You like a lot of change, don't you?
I love change. I get bored.
It seems like your whole musical career from starting out in Chicago to now has been nothing but change. It's like you grew up in the suburbs, you moved to the city, started a band, got out of that band, moved to LA, started co-writing, finished, or didn't necessarily finish that. You're still doing that because you have credits on songs that just came out, the Oompa Loompa song was how long ago?
Yeah, that was this year, January or December of last year.
I don't know, I need to drink more. It feels like that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it feels like yesterday. Yeah, with Jaguar Twin and it's been wild. Actually, I've changed genres a lot as well. I started at 12 years old in an Irish bagpipe band.
Yes.
My great grandpa came over from. Apparently, he was in jail and he dug himself out with a spoon.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah. He came over to the States, landed in Chicago, and started Shannon Rover's Irish bagpipe band. So when I was 12 years old, I was wearing a kilt, playing drums, and that was my first band.
Oh my God. So fast forward to now, even Blame My Youth, which you started, was this did you start it pre-COVID or was it like a mid-COVID?
Yes, it was right around before COVID. It was like, but it really started in pandemic and lockdown. I was like writing songs, and then I believe I was like writing with I was doing a Zoom session with Fitz from Fitz and the Tantrums, and it was everything shut down. I'm like, how long is this going to be? He's like, dude, it's going to be a long. It was like 3 days in. I'm like, is it going to be a couple weeks? He's like, it's going to be a long time. And I'm like, all right. So we wrote this. We locked in with this guy Ryan Daly, and we did his whole like solo album. And while doing that, I'm like, I love doing this, but I don't want to do any other like Zoom rights. And I watched 2 movies. I watched Big Lebowski and Trainspotting one night.
Oh, dude.
And I woke up, I'm like, I'm starting Big Lebowski Rock. And I sat on the edge of a bed, and I wrote that song, the chorus for Fantastic. I'm like, that is Big Lebowski Rock. And it was born. And I'm like, I need to go to the UK, and it has to have a little bit of that Scottish I mean, I say Scottish. I know it's an Irish bagpipe band I started from, but I need a little bit like across the pond, like energy. So Train Spotting and Big Lebowski, I'm like sonically, I get that.
All I have to say is far out.
Yeah, man, it's wild. So yeah, started there, and then Big Lebowski Rock was born. So I just started writing those songs. I wanted to like scream. It was cathartic to like everything was shut down. It just was really cathartic to like scream. You know, I haven't done that in a long time. Writing a lot of like pop songs and stuff like that, and which is great. I love doing that, but like I just had some pandemic angst. So,
and the reason I asked the question is you've had change even with Blame My Youth from its origin to now, because from Prize Fighter to Break, there's a huge sonic difference for the band.
That happened one day. I was working with Joey Moy is my producer, and he's in Nashville. So I would like write the songs in LA and go and record them in Nashville, like the Big Lebowski Rock style. We had a whole bunch of songs, and then one day in the studio, I walk in and. Normally it's like riding a Bronco. We're having a good time, and he just like puts his hand up, and I'm like, oh, like he was on a Zoom, and it was like really bad energy. So I like picked up a guitar, went to another room, and I just started playing like this, like the break, like melody, and like just keeps me wide awake. Yeah, I'm like, that's cool. Who's that for? I don't know. And then I walk back in, and he's just like sitting on his phone. He's like scrolling and like not saying anything. I'm like, man, I gotta break the ice. So I just start like playing this, and he like scrolling on his phone. He looks up, he goes, "That's very good." keep playing,
and don't stop believing.
He's like, yeah, don't stop believing. He goes, keep playing, and then he starts throwing out lyrics, which we have never done before. It's normally like producing, and he'll change words and change some stuff around, but like to write a song from the jump like that, we wrote it in like an hour. It was one of those very fast, like both like talking about like past experiences and stuff like that. And so we finished the song, and I'm like, wow, I'm not screaming on this one. And I went to the keg. He's got a keg in the studio. Drinking is involved in everything.
It's music.
And I saw wine glasses, and I put beer in a wine glass, and I looked at it. And I'm like, oh, that's what this chapter is. This is beer in a wine glass. It's still going to get you drunk. It's still going to mess you up. It's a little more refined. So.
I love it. Well, you bottoms up on that one, or I can pour you another glass. This is for question 2 from Mother Earth Brewing. It started up in Hop Highway in Vista. It's Cali Creamin'. So if you like vanilla.
I love vanilla.
If you like a vanilla creamsicle, this is kind of like that in a beer. And again, really, really light, really crushable, because, you know, if you're San Diego, beers are either going to be really hoppy or they're going to be really crushable. Or they're going to be both.
I'm going to cry.
Don't cry. Hey, cheers to question 2. And actually, that transitions into the next question I have for you. I mean,
what makes you cry?
No, Blame My Youth, the name of the band. How much therapy is in the name?
Oh man, that's what, when I started, I'm like, so I've been in a relationship for 15 years, and we have 2 kids, and like it's all good, but there is like before this relationship, 2007, 2008 were like very wild years for me. I was living in Wicker Park with my roommate was like building American Apparels, so like it was like the heyday of that. So we would have like American Apparel parties and like slip and slide parties. It was just wild, and also a very dark time. I was super broke, sleeping on a mattress, and like it was like the year of heartbreak. Like I had been in relationships before that were all like stable. That was a very unstable year. So
it was
like
2007. You're listening to My Chem, the White Stripes, crying.
Yes. And I was starting Empire as my last band. I started there in that apartment. And then when I was starting this band, I'm like, man, I have a lot to unpack from those years, a lot of reasons. And so I'm like, I'll call it Blame My Youth and just sing about the past.
So really it is. This is your band of musical therapy.
It is. It's my couch, my sonic couch.
All I wanted was a Coke. She wouldn't give it to me.
Oh my God.
All right, now go ahead and try the beer.
All right. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So we've gone from lagers to ales.
Is that clovey, or that's just my palate's
sometimes you got to take 2 sips to get all the flavors, because you might still have a little bit of that residual Japanese lager. He's like, oh, why? Well, why did I come to this interview today?
I love it. I'm actually starting to feel good.
Good? I mean, it should.
Yeah.
If we're talking and drinking beer and we're not having fun, then there's a problem.
Yeah, what's happening?
Dave
had to carry me in today. He's like, I got you, buddy. And now I'm going to be carrying him out on the shoulders.
It's funny that we have Dave here, because I remember the first time he played the break for me, and just hearing you talk about how you wrote it, kind of. I understand the feelings I had listening to it, because the first time I listened to it, I went, God, Dave, that's really familiar. Like it feels like a song that I've heard 1,000 times.
Yeah, I thought it was too. I'm like, is this like Take on Me or something?
But no, but it almost had that feeling like nostalgic 80s vibe to it. So I mean, I'm given the where you were in your life and probably what you were influenced by. I get it. Now you're unpacking all these complex emotions from your teenage years and your formative years and mixing it with the music that you had all around you.
Yes, I'm an 80s baby, so like I grew up listening to 80s radio.
I was going to say, what did you listen to at home? But now I know it was 80s radio. You were listening to
the first memory I kind of have of music was I was in a shopping cart with this kid Ryan, and my dad was pushing me around Dominick's, our local supermarket north side of Chicago, and there was we built this city, like that, like is that air? What is it? We built this city out rocking. And I remember that was my first time like falling in love with the song, like and that was 80s, like heyday. I think that was 80s.
I get it. That was like the first time I was introduced to Johnny Cash. It was my dad singing "Ring of Fire" in the car.
Oh,
we would be going duck hunting at 4 a.m. and it'd be love.
Dude, I have a story about that song too. Like so, I was working at UPS in between. Like I got out of high school, didn't know what I was going to do, and I was on the sort line. And there was a guy, every time we start the shift, there was this kid named James or Jim or something like that. And he would always start every shift when like you hit the buzzer and the conveyor belt starts rolling. He'd go, and like I didn't know that song. I didn't know anything about Johnny Cash. And he would just be singing and I would be like making up words and we'd be like throwing out words. And I'm like, oh man, I like doing this. So that I feel like songwriting was born at UPS for me. Like Ring of Fire started it all.
Oh my God!
This kid just like
jumping on the line and riding it with the boxes.
He's just like having a good old time, like filling trucks.
Oh, he was a thrower.
He was a thrower. I was a sorter, and he would throw them my way, and I'd put them on like if you didn't get your package, it was probably because of my fault. I was singing Ring of Fire, and I was missing the codes.
This went to California. It was supposed to go to Poughkeepsie.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
Yep.
All right, you ready for question number 3?
Oh my God, yeah.
All right, this is a big one. You better prepare yourself for this. So it's named Mongo IPA. It's a double IPA, or as we in San Diego like to call it, a San Diego Common.
All right.
Because it's got more alcohol, it's got more hops, it's more bitterness, and it's named after a dumb brewhouse cat who met
Okay.
The rumor has it he met us into a forklift.
Hey, wait, what's it called?
Mongo IPA.
Mongo. Oh.
Yes, and we were just talking about the cat was named Mongo.
Okay.
Because Mongo liked candy.
Mongo number 5.
Not Mongo.
Mongo number 9 live.
Not anymore.
Yeah, the Mongo ran out of lives.
If he had lives, that forklift took all 9.
Oh, that's what happened. Oh, you just said that.
That's the rumor. It's what I hear. Nobody will actually confirm the story.
R.I.P. Mongo.
Yep, to Mongo. And so we already talked about weird jobs like UPS. What is the best worst story from your experience, whether it be on stage, whether it be co-writing, whether it be in a weird job?
Oh, the best worst story. Let me my drinking brain's like I have 2 brain cells together and they're fighting each other. Like,
well, then take a sip. Take a sip. Let this hit your brain, and then we'll talk about it. Oh, I love this beer.
Oh, that is actually delicious.
Citrusy, piney, and I believe it's like 8.5%.
Is this possibly my favorite of them?
I would hope so. Oh, it's 8% beer.
Oh my!
8% double IPA. This, to me, when I'm grabbing a double IPA in my fridge, Mongo's my go-to. It always has been. It's got everything that San Diego IPA should be. It's bold, it's bitter, it's bright, citrusy, and piney. And a little bit of dank. There's a slight hit of marijuana in the back end.
Yeah, man. I'm drawing a blank, but like I'll say, like with sessions, I'm a very bad schedule-oriented person, and there's a lot of times this has happened way too many times to be a professional songwriter. I go to I look at the wrong day and I show up at the wrong place, and you go there and it's like LA, so an hour away is your session, but I will show up to the studio. And then everyone's just looking at me like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I'm here for the session," and they're already writing. And I remember this one. I can't think of who the artist was, but all these people are just kind of staring at me, and I'm just like, "I'm not supposed to be here, am I?" And I went to my other session, and they were already writing a song, and I wasn't involved in the song. It was a bad day, but I can't think of anything like It's just the drunk brain right now.
You know what? And cheers to that. This is what will make it all better. I appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me. I cannot wait to see you tonight at the Voodoo Rooms. You're playing in San Diego. What was the tour called? Is it Heartbreak?
Tour to Sadness.
Tour to Sadness. There it is.
Yeah, I took a picture in front of one. We were doing a photo shoot, and I saw this fan. I'm like, let me just take a picture in front of that solo fan.
Please tell me that in the picture you have a wine glass full of beer.
I did. I actually, that's funny. That's like, I did, and then we didn't have it in there, and then we're like, well, should we Photoshop that in there? We should have made this whole thing. But yeah, Tour to Sadness.
Well, I cannot wait to see what the next chapter is.
Yeah, we're playing markets we haven't. We had a whole tour with Kid Capici that went away. This UK band that we absolutely love, and that went away, and we didn't have anything. And then we were doing the radio runs, and then everything got booked up last minute. So they're like, all right, well, you need to get out there and play. So we were booked at like Johnson City. We played like these places we've never
playing the Jamba Juice in Burbank.
The Jamba Juice and yeah, yes, the Jamba Juice, the Jamba Juice tour.
It's awesome to have you here. Can't wait to see you live. This is gonna be the first time I get to experience your music in the live setting because I've listened to all the tracks that Mr. Barbas over there has sent me, and I would imagine there's an album in the works sometime.
We have enough. We have a song coming out in November, and then we have a song coming out in January, and then we have a song coming out in it's like every 6 weeks.
Yep. Hey, the drip is there. I like it.
Yeah. We're loaded.
Well, let's finish getting loaded and get you back on your feet. We'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.